Hi everybody, this is Terry from Sweet Pea Papers, the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and the Junk Journal Tutorials and More Facebook group, and the coffee shop Sweet Pea Papers, and it's spelled ko-fi/Sweet Pea Papers. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember or not. Probably you do, because it was like fairy books all over last year, and we did the winter fairies, spring fairies, summer fairies, and we had no autumn fairies. And the reason for that was that Victoria Designs, which all these books were made with their kit or journals, and I really had a good time doing these. They didn't release the autumn fairies until November. It was insane. I was like, are you guys crazy? I don't have time to make an autumn book now. And so I decided to wait and make it this year. So now a whole year has passed. We've got these 3 books for reference, so we can go back and make sure they're kind of in this, it's in the style that these books were. These are from a year ago, remember? So I'm going to put these to the side for right now. See if I can find somewhere to put them. Hold on just one second. Let me put them over on my desk. They're so fat I can hardly stack them on top of each other. Okay, so we've got our, let me do a little housekeeping here. We've got our Fall Fairies papers, which I'm going to show you in just a second. And the colors of ink that I'm using are Rusty Hinge and Gathered Twigs. So these are the papers, and I've got them sorted. Of course I do. This one is by itself because I've already cut apart this set to use one of the pages as one of the cover pages. Okay, so these are the book pages. Now I found this one to be a bit dark and the colors to not be as vibrant. Now, Tina, I love you, and you know I do, and I buy all your kits and I use them all. But this one just was not my favorite. That's all. But we're going to love it, and we're going to make it, and then we're going to make it wonderful. Okay, so these are your pages. I'm going to do them quick and not do every single page. And I got the snifflies today. They mowed the grass here yesterday, and I stuck my head out when I let the dog out to go to the bathroom. And I ended up with a face full of fresh grass, you know. Not like anybody threw it at me or anything. I don't mean that, but just the scent and whatever. Also, I printed on the back of these. This is the backing page that comes with it, since it's from last year. This is before she started adding the extra 4 backing pages that are, you know, writable. So this is the one that was there, and it was writable. It's writable. But I took this one and I snagged it from one of the other fairy journal excuse me, one of the other fairy journal books, and used it as well because I thought it went okay with our colors. Plus, it's just going to be on the back as writing cards or whatever, and most of this you'll never see. Yay. My printer thanks you. Especially for all that yellow. Oh, I discovered if you have an Epson Eco Tank, I think mine's a 3760. It takes the 502 bottles that you can get on Amazon. I get my refills for like $12, $14 for all 3 colors and a small black instead of the big giant black. But I've also discovered that one of the same generic companies also makes the individual colors. And I thought, wow, $12 for just one, or I could get, you know, the whole set for $14. Well, I don't need the whole set. I keep buying the whole set to get just yellow, right? So I'll show you these while I'm talking. These are the 2 writing pages, blank pages. I said to myself, well, that's a rip. Then I realized it was 2 for $10, I believe it was, and that's exactly what it would be for 4. That would be 4 for $20, but that would be black, and we don't need black anyway because goodness knows we have enough black to choke a horse. Oh, let me set this one aside. I forgot to trim that side off. And these are the portrait pages. This is the recurring pattern page. It's directional because there's little fairies on it. And this one as well has a little fairy right here in the corner, but this right here we can use, you know what I mean, as a just a patterned page. Same with this one. There's a little pattern down here, but if we were to cut it in half, then, you know, we could use it without the little fairy on it. Same with this one. This one's portrait though because the mushrooms run up and down the side. This one I like. And it says Autumn Fairies, Autumn Fairies, Autumn Fairies, so that might make an appearance on the cover somewhere. Doesn't have to be literal every time though on the cover. And here's a repeating butterfly pattern. Oh, so I guess all of these are together. I don't know why I sorted them separate, because if I was going to, then the pumpkin page would go with this page. Okay. Oh, I know what it is. Some of these are the landscape ones, and some of them are the portrait ones. That's why I got confused for a minute, because I had them all laying the same way. But these are the recurring pattern pages, these 2, without any little people. Now this is the same one as the other one that had the little people across the bottom and this pattern on the top, only this is the portrait version. The other was the landscape version. Same with this one. We've got this portrait shaped one, or oriented one, and we've got the big fairy here, and so we'll probably cut this here. That will be nice, and then we can use the rest of it as a repeating pattern. Same here. Not sure why they did so many that way. And here's another pumpkin one. Oh, it's the same as, yeah, it's almost the same as this one, but this is the horizontal version. This is the portrait version. To me, half of the page looks the same. I'm just saying. And this is the same way. It's directional. These are the 2 backing pages, writing pages. And those are the papers. Now we've got a bunch of pages. What did I do with the other pumpkin page? I don't know. Anyway. I don't think I realized that pumpkin page had a person on it. I think that butterfly one was the only one. Now we're going to be cutting these in half and using them as usual, because we can make our flips and flaps and stuff that way. But I haven't taken them apart yet. I'm going to take them apart as I use them, I think. I'm not sure. I may cut them apart, but don't quote me on that. Okay, so these are the papers. This is what we're going to use. This is the rusty hinge, and it's four pages of cream colored 65-pound cardstock. So we've just got 4 pages, and you're going to want to ink around the edge on both sides and fold it in half and then ink the center on both sides. And I didn't do a very good job inking these, that's for sure. I was in a bit of a hurry. And make sure that when you're doing this part, each of these is going to be a separate page. So ink this as if it were a single page, you know, that goes with, you know what I'm saying. Make sure you can see it here and you're not just inking the edge, because you're going to see this separately from this part in the book, because this is page 1 and this is the last page. Do you see what I mean on that? Okay, so we're going to use that. We're not going to use any coffee dyed paper this time. We're just going to use 4 cream colored papers. We've got our words. Then we have the ephemera. We have lots of ephemera. I cut it all up this time ahead of time, so that could help us maybe plan our pages and stuff and use more of the ephemera this time. Okay, this is my hope. It may not happen, but it's my hope. I don't want to end up with a bunch of ephemera left over. I want to try to use, make enough pockets that we can stuff some pockets with these cards. They gave us a lot of cards this time. Here's one that looks like a notepad. Here's a little bitty notepad. Okay, or notebook paper. So, wow, it's warm in here. I had to turn my fan on low. I hope the low fan is not bothering you. You can hear it just a touch in the background because I tested. But I'm dying here, so you're getting the fan with me. Just a little bit. These are all the fussy cuts. What I did was I took the 2 pages of big fussy cuts and I printed them as 1 page. So that made my fussy cuts half the size, because I didn't really need a fairy twice that size for the inside of our book. Okay? Everything else is just the regular size that it was in the pages. Let me see what I got here. What did I do? Anyway, so these 2 are bigger. I have 2 different sets. Okay, and we will probably use some other embellishments that are fabric, like lace or ivy. Maybe some of that. Wish I had it in gold. Oh, I do. I have it in gold. So we'll use some of that. I'll get that out. And so on and so forth. So let me cut this one real quick. Okay. And I'm thinking, you know, we'll probably cut this in half. You never know. I didn't print out all of the portrait page ones, the portrait oriented ones. I didn't print out all the horizontal oriented ones either. They put those full-size pictures in there, and I'm not really sure, you know, how you're supposed to use it in a book, because even if you did, say, print it out and print on the back and then fold the pages in half and make your signatures, then the front and back of your image, oh, I get rusty hinge on me. The front and back of your images are not going to be together, because there's going to be other pages in between unless you make it your center spread. But you can only do that with 1. So call me confused. Okay, just call me confused on that. Let's see. I've got everything set aside for page 1. And this is what I've decided to use for the cover. I think I'm going to use this. It's got the autumn trees on it and the butterfly that we can use glossy accents on. And then I found a little fairy that was sitting down in the right direction that I could put her in this corner. Then we're going to use this half of it on the back. And then I don't know what we're going to use for the inside covers. I really don't want to use those, the pumpkins, because they're so big and distracting. So we'll have to see what we can do about that. So this is going to be page 1. And I've inked this. It's the paper. Then, forgot to ink that. Then we're going to take this cream colored piece of paper and we're going to cut it down so that we can make a flap that has, let me get the magnets out, a flap that that this will fit on, just this part. And then the little edge on the outside. And then we'll put this image on the back. And before we put the image on the back, we're going to remember to put a magnet on there. You think? Okay. So let's cut this first. Oh, and then on this page, there's going to be an acetate belly band holding on the envelope. So, yeah, let's cut this first. And then we can cut the cream colored piece to match. So I'm just eyeballing it. Let's see. Okay, so I tried to go about as much above the butterfly as I went below this little crossbar, because there's a little crossbar there. And because I went down to the bottom of the flowers. Okay, so that's what I did there for that. And let's get the cream colored paper now. Let's measure the width. It's not, I mean the height. Let's not worry about the width right now. Where's my pencil? I had everything but my pencil. Well, isn't that special? Well, I have another one. Probably rolled up under my glass. This is in the center of my table. My table folds in half. So this side sticks up in the air. So I have a whole bunch of shims underneath on this side, and things roll up under the glass mat. But I got smart and got two pencils exactly the same. Just because. Because I could. Oh, there it is. It's right by the computer. That one's my favorite one. I know they're exactly the same. I realized that. Okay. We've got this. Now remember, we're going to have a 1/2 inch that we're folding under. And then 1/8 of an inch for the edge. Well, let's mark, or let's score this at 1/2 inch. That's what we'll do. We'll get ahead of the game. So we'll score this at 1/2 inch. How many times have I said that now? Okay. And we'll put the paper over a little bit so that we've got our border. And then we'll give ourselves a little border on this side. So we'll cut it off there. So now, since this is the cream colored paper like the papers in the book, I'm going to ink it with the rusty hinge. This I'm going to ink with the gathered twigs. Let's see if I can keep this straight the whole book. And really, to make this look like rust, I always mix it with a little bit of brown. But I kind of like it the pumpkin-y, made that up, pumpkin-like color that it is just on this cream-colored paper, because that's, you know, fall and pumpkins and so forth. And I have been doing the corners a little bit, you know, like kind of accenting the corners. And not just making them square. Kind of, ooh, well, like I said, been sloppy. And then we have to ink this in the twigs. I wanted to use a piece of craft paper with a K, craft. But when it got here, it was this light colored craft paper, which is the consistency of regular craft paper, but look at the color. Blah! So what I've had to do, believe it or not, you have to order brown craft paper. Who knew? I thought all craft paper was that brown color. I truly did. So either I won't do that, or I'm not going to glue this on until I get mine on Monday. Today's Saturday. Happy birthday to me. Not uploading any videos or anything today, but I felt like recording, so I think the piece of craft paper around there would just make it look so much better. So I think what I'm going to do is well, then would that make this paper the right size? No, it wouldn't, would it? We would need to mount this on the craft paper, and then Okay, well, we're not going to do that. Just having that cream color right there just is kind of bugging me in between. So I think I'm going to take a look at this and see. Drink some more coffee. This is my Dachshund cup. What? It's got all kinds of weenie dogs on it, like Oz. Shouldn't have said his name. It just seemed too, you know, I like that little bit of a lighter and then the darker edge, because it just seemed too white, even though this is cream color. And if there's no white that it shows against, then the cream color looks white. Does that make any sense? Probably not. That don't necessarily make sense at 3:30 in the morning. But oh, you might ask, why are you up so early? Well, I've been up since midnight. I slept in. No, sleeping in is 2 a.m. Okay. Let's put this one on. Let's see. Let's slide it here, and then if we need to trim the edge, which we do, we slide it in a little bit more. Then we can just trim it here and re-ink this end. That looks better. Okay, and then we'll put our magnet on. Oh, I was recording my coffee videos. It's KOFI, so I always, or KO-FI, so I always call it Ko-Fi, but apparently it's coffee. Sort of like Buy Me a Coffee. They kind of ripped off that name, I guess. And how is this narrower? Did I cut the page crooked? It looks like I might have. Let me find an alternate image. I want to save this one. I think I want to make a fussy cut out of it. So where was that at? This one is the one I want to do the fussy cut of, I believe. So this is bigger. And we definitely could do that. You can see with my precise measurement system, I might possibly have cut one a little crooked. When Janet was here crafting it, she measured and I folded. The reason I fold it instead of measuring it, even though measuring it is much more precise, I would think, is that it's a funny measurement. Because it's not 5.5, because we've trimmed the edges all off and everything. That would be kind of neat for a cover too, wouldn't it? No, I think I like the autumn trees better. Okay, now we're going to cut this. Right there. And then we're going to ink this with the brown. Because you wouldn't even be able to see the rusty hinge against the green. You would right here, but that's about all. So I decided to go with the brown around the edges of the papers. Boy. Okay, now let's make sure we're right side up. Right side up, right side up. Okay, we've covered our magnet. Okay, let's miter this a little bit. That's not helpful. Oh, that worked out good. Now put it on upside down. And we're just going to glue the hinge on. Which I probably should have folded it back and inked it on the other side. But we'll just try to get it in as close as we can without that showing, but still being able to fold the page shut. And it's okay that it sticks out a little bit, because our paper's wider, and then this is the outside edge of the book. And I'm thinking we might want some of that gold on here, since it's going to be the first page. I've got the green as well. But this is more autumn-like. This is more summer-like to me. Well, this is more, hello, I'm here. But, yeah, I'm liking that right there. Okay, so let me get that cut. I don't know why my nose is running so much. You have to excuse me. It isn't enough to blow my nose, it's just enough to sound bad. So I'm going to cut the stem off here, but I'm going to leave the leaf on there and let it hang down. Okay. Better move it in though. Can't have the leaves sticking towards the center, so I better re-glue that. It would get caught up in the center of the book. Okay. Oh, for goodness sakes. I'm going to have to go back with the glue eraser and clean that up. Keep catching that on the edge of my finger and pulling it up. Okay, so we got that. We've got this. Now let's look at this. I wonder if the envelope is going to be too thick for the magnet to pull through. I don't think so. Okay, now we're going to put this in the brown, I think. Just the cream pages, when we use them, we'll be inking the orange or the rust color. I could have made this ahead of time, but what fun would that have been, right? Okay, the only thing we need to ink the back of is this here, where the flap's going to be. And then once we get them folded, how pretty. Even upside down looking at it. There's no lines on this one. I'm just folding it even with where this stops, you know, where that little fold stops, or that little shaped area, a little bent area there. And then I'm just pulling this up so it's even across where these are folded in. Okay, so I missed a spot. So we're going to need to ink this edge right here very lightly. Okay, and because it comes out dark. And then we will need to just glue these two sides right here. You can use your bone folder on it if you want. Makes everything flatter. Then you're going to want to ink all four of these edges now that you have them. And you have to do it on both sides. Otherwise you won't see it on the back side at all. Okay, so that's that. I can't put like a Velcro dot or anything on it because that would make it too thick. I think this will be fine though. And then we're just going to put an acetate belly band. Across the center. So let's mark how wide it is. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure. Well, maybe I do to hold it down. I don't know why I flipped that over. Okay. Make sure this closes. Let's put the magnet on the back. It's close to the edge, isn't it? Okay, let's make it page 1. It's not time yet, Oz. Thinks it's time for BREAKFAST. I don't think he knows how to spell that one yet. Well, that one came out pretty. I like that. Okay, so that's page number 1 and our flip through of all of our images, our pages, our ephemera, and we'll do some of the other stuff too as I get it out. Maybe some of that thin cream colored ribbon. Maybe we'll use some of that. And yeah, I think that's it. So I will see you in the next video. And thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you then. Okay? Bye-bye.